Okay, what's going on, guys? This is Mark, and I've got Austin here again. It's fun. Well, not really again, but again in terms of
But,
recording. It's funny because we recorded this about what was it, about like
a
2 months
month ago.
ago, like
Yeah.
like and but what happened was the video file was actually corrupted. I have no clue how that's possible. But I put it into Vegas Pro and it was corrupted, and so I had to get rid of it. And so we've literally just been twiddling our thumbs, waiting for when
Yeah.
waiting for when
Yeah.
we can do this again. But and stuff, and so we've been scheduling and stuff like that, and so we decided to do it this morning. Uh and so what what we did before anyway was a top five Yugi was a top five favorite duels from Yu-Gi-Oh list, and I figured now would be a better time to give my personal opinion on this because I'm almost done with the series and with the series anyway, um
hmm
and stuff like that. So let's just go. So let's just go on ahead and start. I think we should probably like count down from 5 to 1 maybe,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. That's fine.
like
And for the people viewing, I don't know if they'll be able to see like me on the screen, but
oh
if they
yeah yeah
can't,
yeah, you're visible, you're visible.
okay. I, I'm going to be looking up because my laptop screen doesn't work, so I had to hook it up to my TV just so y'all know I'm not like looking up here for no reason. That I'm looking at my TV, which shows the screen. So
Mhm.
that's what
All right,
but yeah, if you want, do you want to start off the five or how do you want?
Uh, okay, guys. Sorry about that. We had to. I had to do some stuff with the Google Doc and everything. Get it up to Drive and everything, so that I could, do this on my phone. So that the dock wasn't open constantly and stuff like that. That would have been kind of cringe-inducing to watch. but Austin, since you're my guest, why don't you start off with your number five?
All right, so my number five is Yugi versus Merrick. I actually really liked that duel. It was fun. It it was kind of weird near the ending, but I thought it was a fun time.
Hmm.
What about you? What's your number five?
I'd say my number five would be Yugi, and by Yugi I mean like little Yugi,
Hmm.
versus Yami Bakura in a Millennium World or Pharaoh's Memories.
That's an awesome.
Because I mean, oh my gosh, there's so much going on in that duel. I mean, you've got I've already gone over it extensively in my review series segments, but as to why I love that duel so much. To chop it all down, um the reason I love that duel so much is because it shows Yugi actually proving himself. I mean, Atem is really the one in need of rescue, and so he goes and he faces Yami Bakura, and he actually wins, and it basically proves that he can hold his own just fine, in a
Exactly.
duel because of the time he spent with Atem, throughout the entire series, and and uh, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's really why I like that duel there. Okay, on to number four. What's your number four?
So mine would be Yugi versus Raphael. And it's I loved both duels that they did, but my favorite was the first one, just because. And obviously, this is spoiler review
Oh
or
yeah,
spoiler.
we probably should have prefaced this. This video is going to be full of spoilers.
I forgot about that, but yeah, I just
You're not the only one.
the fact that Yugi lost, I think, like not only that he lost, but it showed like the dark part of the Pharaoh. The I love that whole thing. The only thing that irked me about that duel was if he didn't play the Silivori Calcos and lost, nothing would have happened. Like,
Hmm.
but I still I loved it.
Yeah, like if Atem hadn't played the Seal of Orichalcos, I mean, there really wouldn't have been any. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, seriously, it's like, oh my gosh, it's
He would
uh,
just lose the fact that
he just
he was you know undefeated. That's the only thing that would have happened.
Yeah, well, technically no. I mean, the thing is, I mean, he does have an issue with losing. There's no denying that. I mean, that's the exact reason why he plays the seal in the first place. Because I mean, you know, Tamias is encasing Crystal, and that turn would be his last if he hadn't played it. The thing I really like that duel as well, due to the fact that I mean, Raphael was really counting on it, because even at the beginning of the duel, he said, "Hey, Pharaoh, I don't have any intention of playing the Seal of Orichalcos. I have no intention of doing that." And immediately that kind of sets, well, not really Atem off, but it sets Yugioh off. Like, why the heck isn't this guy playing the Seal? Maybe he's trying something or something like that. And then, sure enough, it happens.
What about you? What's your number 4?
Okay, this might be kind of divisive to people watching, especially the longtime fans. But for me, my number 4 is Yugi versus Kaiba, and I chose their duel in Battle City. And before anyone throws any hate at me for that, instead of their duel in the first episode or their duel in Duelist Kingdom, because I love both those duels equally. This was a really hard choice to make. But the reason why the Battle City duel just barely edged both of those other duels out is just because of the stakes. Because you've got two duelists who both have Egyptian god cards. They both had I believe I believe Seto had Obelisk. Kaiba had Obelisk, and Atem had Slifer at that point. And to just see the two clash in an open ring was amazing. Was amazing to see. I mean, neither of them wanted to give up that fight. And then you know, when they clash, they're given a vision of what we would later know as Pharaoh's memories, where, like, there's that scene with Pharaoh Atem, and he's banishing this monster or something like that. And so there's a lot of intrigue brought up because of that as well. And I think it also just shows how relentless Kaiba is. And how he refuses to back down.
I agree with that.
But really quickly, I'll go over my thoughts on Yugi versus Kaiba in Duelist Kingdom. This duel was actually really well, I mean, the first episode obviously is great. The first episode is great for obvious reasons. I mean, it's Atem's first appearance. Of course, he's gonna mop the floor with whoever he's dueling. Mm-hmm. Not to mention the fact that there have been several memes, countless memes put up, where that final shot when Seto's blasted by Exodia and he's like this. He's like this. I mean, it's classic. It's classic. You can't get much better than that. In terms of comedy. And their second duel in Duelist Kingdom, though, is it's a lot of, I think it's kind of a precursor to Atem's duel with Raphael, because it shows, like, Atem doesn't want to lose that duel because
at no cost. I agree.
Yeah, but on top of that, it was also changed significantly in the subbed version. Well, not really significantly in the dub. I mean, this was kind of where they kept kind of close to the chest in terms of scripting for Duelist Kingdom, and maybe even I think Battle City as well. But in the subbed version, they kind of kept it to the same tone in the dub, but they kind of watered it down a little bit. But in the subbed version, Seto refuses to lose the duel to the point where he threatens suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of you know, accepting defeat, because Mokuba's life is in the balance and all that. So they both have something major to lose. So I mean in the sub, he threatens suicide by just jumping off that tower that they were on. But in the dub, he basically says, look, if you attack me with your monster, with how close I am to the edge, it might knock me off, or something like that. So it's the same idea, but it's watered down a little bit. And so that's why I I kind of like all three duels equally. I like all three duels equally, but their Battle City one just barely etches out for the reasons that I stated before. So yeah, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Yugi versus Joey.
Mm,
I loved that duel. I even to this day, like even before I like went back because I stopped watching Yu-Gi-Oh for years upon years, but I rewatched all the seasons to do the reviews for YouTube, and then even before I did all that, I would listen to no matter what the song in that duel,
mm,
just
mm,
because I love that song. Like it's a killer song and it was a killer duel and it was a lot of fun.
mm. I agree
So
with
that
that a lot. I agree with that a lot. All right, so my number 3 would be Joey versus Merrick, versus Yami Merrick. My bad. In Battle City,
that
and oh my gosh, a little bit of backstory behind this. When I was a kid, I actually had a DVD that had I believe the first because the DVD had the entirety of Joey versus Merrick, but it only covered like the first 2 episodes of Atem versus Kaiba.
mhm.
Um, just because you know of just because you know of the disc space, I guess. But I love Joey versus Merrick, and of it's because of the underlying themes. Because Joey, he's not just fighting to win; he's fighting for love. Because this is the guy that sent his in the sub. Well, it's actually kind of weird. I haven't seen the sub version um of that duel yet because I'm waiting until I cover the sub version of the whole series.
Yeah.
But for the ceremonial battle, I'm actually looking at because it's so short. It's only like 4 episodes. I'm taking my time and I'm looking at the sub and dub and comparing them in certain instances. And so but in the sub version, I believe Joey and Mai were written to be lovers. I don't or
I wouldn't be
something like
surprised.
that. Because don't get me wrong. I mean, obviously, Mai didn't just come out and start saying, "Oh, I love you, Joey," and stuff like that. But I mean, it was more. It was shown in their actions for each other. It was shown in how willing they were, and like how far they were willing to go for each other. And in the dub, it's toned down, and it's toned down. In the dub, the reason why Joey is going after Mai so much is because she's a good friend. Is because she's a good friend, and he wants to save his friend from this horrible atrocity that's happened to her. But for me, I think it's just a good example of Joey's determination. Because I mean, it also shows how good he's gotten. Because
Yeah.
I don't know if you can remember this far back in the series, but in Duelist Kingdom, the first duel that he had in Duelist Kingdom, he was messing around like crazy because he didn't know what to do, and he just barely won that. And so Yugi basically shows him the ropes and stuff, and eventually he crafts his own deck, which of course is the luck-based deck that he uses
Mhm.
throughout Battle City, and it literally is luck-based. It's literal luck. But it works wonders for it. And and the final shot of that duel where Joey is struck down by Ra. He's struck down
Yeah.
by Ra, and he's still standing. He's still standing. And I'm like, and oh my gosh, the dub made it hilarious. The dub made that scene hilarious. I mean, it wasn't
Merrick's
bad.
face.
It wasn't bad. It was just really funny to see Merrick in that situation.
Yeah.
Because I don't really want to play the clip here for copyright purposes. I mean, I might. Yeah, I'll just do that. I'll play the clip here for copyright purposes. But it's only gonna be like 5 seconds long, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But
Time to put an end to Merrick's evil for good.
If he succeeds in attacking my life points, I'll lose the duel and my Egyptian god card!
All right, this is it. It's my turn now. and you're wide open.
This can't be happening!
But in case I forget, what happens is that after Joey is struck down by Ra, Merrick is basically he's terrified. He's terrified to put it frankly. And oh my gosh, Jonathan Todd Ross, he did an amazing job with that performance in that moment, because because Merrick's sweating, he's freaking out, he's like because after Ross strikes Joey down, its effect deactivates, and so it goes back to the graveyard. Joey summons I think it was Gearfree the Iron Knight.
Yeah.
And Merrick's like, oh my gosh, if this guy succeeds in attacking my life points, I'll lose the duel. I'll lose the duel. I mean, it was such a good moment. It was such a good moment.
I know, if he lasted like 5 more seconds, that's all he needed.
I know.
Like, it's crazy.
I know, but man, but unfortunately he passed out because of the strain. But at the same time, it's weird because a lot of the characters were acting like Joey had gone to the Shadow Realm, and that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case because he still had life points remaining. At least it looked like it. I think he had like 400 left or something like that. Because I mean, there's a shot of his duel disc, and it shows some left. So he lost because he passed out. He didn't lose because he lost. He didn't lose legitimately. He lost because of the strain on his body. And so, if anything, that adds even more credence to how cool he is as a character because of how much he's gone through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's your number 2 pick?
So my number 2 was, I believe it was your number 4, Yugi versus Seto, and I agree with. I loved all 3 duels, but the one that I would have to put on this list is the one that both of them had their Egyptian God cards just duking it out. I loved that. I loved seeing, like, that was them, like, at the first duel was cool, but they were still kind of, or at least Yugi still was kind of learning the ropes. He only won because of Exodia. Second duel, they were both good, but Kaiba's best card was Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, which was cool. But in this duel, their best card was a God card. So
you can't get much better than that.
Yeah. So I really liked it. What about you? What's your number 2?
Okay, my number 2, I forget what number you said it for. I think it was number 3. But my number 2 pick is actually Yugi versus Joey in Duelist Kingdom, and oh man, I tried so hard not to geek out when you were mentioning no matter what. I mean, I love that montage that they do.
Yeah.
That they do. I don't know if I think it was I want to say it was something created specifically for the dub. Although I think I saw the sub version, but I can't really remember. But oh my gosh, because before the duel even starts, you've got this wonderful montage of their moments throughout the entire season with this epic song playing in the background, and it is so powerful. It is so powerful. And I mean, the final moment of that duel, though, was really impactful, because it's actually the first, and it's actually the first time that we've ever actually seen a Tem cry.
Yeah.
Because there's that moment where he's about to strike Joey down. Well, not really strike Joey down, but I mean, deplete his life points, and Atem actually cries. Actually cries for a brief shot. There's a brief shot of him, of like tears going down his face, and it doesn't linger on it, but it's still powerful, because he basically says, "Look, you fought a valiant duel, and this is the hardest move I've ever had to make." And then like that shot of tears going down. It's so powerful. It's so powerful. The other reason why I really like that is also because it's because of what's going on in the duel itself. Because you've got I forget who says this. I think it's Bakura. Because during the entire duel, the others are like giving commentary on it. And so you've got Bakura, who's basically saying, look, they're pushing each other. They're pushing each other so that whoever wins will be at their best when he faces Pegasus. And I think that was so good. That was so good, and it's so much fun to rewatch as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it hasn't. I mean, sure, the animation's dated. I mean, by today's standards, but it's still a joy to rewatch. The voice acting is amazing. It's a perfect duel. It's a perfect duel in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then okay, so like I said before, I think we might share some. I thought we might share some maybe some honorable mentions or something like that before we get to our number one.
Okay.
So an honorable mention for me would probably be Yugi versus Weevil. Yugi versus Weevil, oddly enough.
I like that one.
In Duelist Kingdom, because he just mops the floor with him. And the thing I love about Duelist Kingdom, though, is that I want to say Duelist Kingdom was made before the card game before the official trading card game actually had like a rule book, and so practically anything went. And so that explains why, you're able to summon like the Blue Eyes White Dragon without making a sacrifice. And I know a lot of people get pissed off at that, but I mean, come on, guys, it was the first season. They were just having fun.
Yeah.
Like, let's have fun with this first season, and then in Battle City, that's where the, official trading card game rules come in.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, if you don't like it, I mean, you can always skip it. And go on to Battle City. I mean, that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, Atem just mops the floor with Weevil. It's hilarious. And stuff. What would an honorable mention be from you?
So an honorable mention for me would be, and it was actually on your list, Merrick versus Joey.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to repeat everything you said, but it's because of basically everything you said. And the last like 5 seconds of that duel was amazing. I loved Merrick's face afterwards.
Oh yeah,
I loved that, and the fact that like he did go from like he defeated Rex because Yugi told him about Time Wizard. It like he would not have won if it wasn't for Yugi. However, he won because like of him. It wasn't because of Yugi or it. He would have won if he didn't pass out. Like I really like that duel, and if he just lasted 5 more seconds, he would have won.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, exactly. And it's interesting because another thing that I want to say about that duel as well is the voice acting is amazing in it. The voice acting is amazing. I mean, a lot of people criticize the 4Kids voice actors, but I don't really see the point in doing that because they're literally actors doing a job given to them by a studio. So it's not really. I mean, true, there are bad voice actors and even bad actors nowadays. I mean, you see it on TV all the time. But I mean, you've got pretty much probably the best performance from Wayne Grayson as Joey. It's probably his best performance as the character. And,
yeah.
Wait, go on ahead. Were you gonna say something? Or?
Well, I was just gonna say like every time I think of that duel, I think of if he would have won, he would have had Raw. I just like picture that
exactly.
Like that would be weird. Just seeing Joey summon Raw.
Now I summon the Winged Dragon of Wrath. I can't do a good Joey impression. I can't do it. That's the best it gets for me. I'm sorry. I just had to do that. I've always wanted to do that. But now Winged Dragon of Wrath, activate your Phoenix mode. Oh man. Oh man, that was so much fun.
See, now they need to add that in the show. Just a snippet of that.
Have a flashback. Just have like a what if story in V-Reigns of Joey using the Winged Dragon of Raw.
Exactly. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Oh man. So like I said before, we might we did share some list numbers, although granted some duels in the list, although they were different numbers. But I think our number one is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
But go on ahead. Go on ahead.
Mine is Yugi versus Yami. The duel was epic. You saw them use decks that like some stuff you didn't see before, and it was cool to see that, kind of like the reason why I like Joey's duel. You know how for the longest time he didn't win just because of him; he won because of other people. And that's the same reason why I like Yugi versus Bakura. But in this one, he's not facing Bakura. He's not facing,
he's facing his best
anyone
friend.
else. He's facing not only his best friend, but like a person that they're they've shared a body for all this time. Like that's like a relationship that is second to none. And
Pretty much.
and the fact that not only was it a cool duel, but it was a heartfelt duel at the same time.
I mean, I'm not really gonna go into why I like the ceremonial battle, well, too much anyway, because I just started on well, actually no, I'm almost done with the ceremonial battle part 1 script anyway, so I'm not really gonna go into my feelings on it, or at least I'm gonna try not to go into my feelings on it, because it's been a while since I've worked on it, because I've been so busy with other stuff. But I love that duel because, I mean, that's also my number one. That's also my number one. But I love that duel because it's, I mean, pretty much for the same exact reasons you did. Because it, I mean, there was only one other time when Yugi and Atem ever dueled each other, and that was in Waking the Dragons. But I don't really count that duel because, I mean, it was part of Atem's arc. It was part of Atem's arc with his morality, so I don't really count that. But the main reason why I love that duel so much is because pretty much for the same reasons you did. I mean, it's Yugi dueling against pretty much not only his best friend but his closest one as well, because they've shared a body for at least half a decade. The reason why I say half a decade is because, well, not only is it stated in the subversion, but Taya also mentions it. At the beginning of Pharaoh's Memories, she says that they've been on adventures like this for, I want to say 4 years, something like that. For the past 4 years, which implies that this is gonna be the 5th year or something like that, or something. And so so if it's not half a decade, it's roughly half a decade. Like 4 years. I mean, 4 is one less than 5. So they've been sharing the same body for pretty much half a decade, learning off of each other, learning each other's strategies, stuff like that. I mean, heck, I think I didn't put this on my list, but I think their duel with Pegasus was crucial for this one, because was crucial for this one in terms of them learning each other's strategies, because they had no choice but to switch back and forth in that duel, otherwise they would have lost. And so, but in doing so, they learned a lot about each other. I mean, heck, they have a internal dialogue where Yugi basically says, "Look, Pegasus can read our minds. We can't know each other's strategies, and so we're gonna have to go into this blind by switching back and forth constantly, each turn." And so they do that, and stuff. But it really allows Yugi to get to know Atem, to get to know his strategies and stuff like that. Even though they crafted a deck together, the way they use the deck can be completely different from it. Can be completely different, because it's illustrated perfectly in that duel. I mean, Atem has a deck that's Atem basically has a deck that's comprised of most of the cards that we know him for. Well, I mean, obviously you've got the Egyptian gods there, which isn't oh my gosh. I don't want to go too deep into it. But Ah, screw it. I guess I will. But but I mean, Atem's got a deck that has all three Egyptian gods in it. He plays Jack's Knight, Queen's Knight, and King's Knight, which of course he sacrifices to summon them. And so it's pretty much Atem using the deck that we've pretty much seen him use the entire series versus a deck that we've never seen before. And somehow he came out on top. Somehow Yugi came out on top in that. It's such an epic scene when Yugi takes down all three Egyptian gods. He takes down all three Egyptian gods in a single turn.
Which it's hard to take down one, let alone all three.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's something not even I mean, I'd hate to add insult to injury, but that's something that not even Kaiba could do.
No.
Oh great, now Eric Stewart's gonna be pissed off at me because I dissed his character. But and stuff like that. But I definitely agree with you as well on the emotional stakes there, because Yugi knows that if he wins, Atem's gonna go on to the afterlife, and he'll be gone forever. And stuff like that. And I think that duel has another one of those, last turn moments where he's hesitant to make the final move because he knows that the moment he does, their bond's gonna be broken, and Atem's spirit will be free. And the moment after he makes the final strike is so it's the feels,
The feels are there.
Yeah, I don't want to go too deeply into it. I'll probably go over it more extensively in my review segment for it. Speaking of review segment, part 1 is mostly gonna be just the introduction to the duel itself, because I want to cover because I want to take my time with this one. Because I mean, well, I've been trying to take my time with pretty much every duel I've covered, but this duel especially because there's so much going on and there's so much I want to talk about with and stuff like that. So I'll probably have part 1 will probably be up maybe within the next couple weeks, because I mean it's gonna take me time to record it and edit it and all that stuff as well, and I'm gonna be pulling from a myriad of different sources and stuff, not just the dub, because like I said, I'm gonna cover certain aspects of the sub version as well. I mean, I don't cover the entirety of the duel in the sub because I'm waiting for when I actually cover the entirety of the sub version of the series. But that's not gonna be until after I'm done with Duel Monsters GX and 5D is dubbed. So that way I don't have to go back. That way I'm not too familiar with it, and so I can cover the sub versions of each series with a clean slate. And stuff. So yeah, that was kind of my long-winded explanation for why I like that duel so much, and stuff like that. But yeah, I think I mean, a lot of people like to call that duel the Dan Green duel because Dan Green voices both Atem and Yugi, and so, oh man, part of me just wanted to be in the booth with him while he. Just wanted to be like a fly on the wall in the booth with him while he was recording.
While he was dueling himself.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that. I mean, it'd be cool. It'd be cool to see. Like maybe if 4Kids were to release like a behind the scenes video or something like that on how the recording process goes, stuff like that. Because I'm a sucker for that type of stuff. So
yeah.
But yeah, so that was my list. Any final words from you?
No. I like every duel that was on your list. Everything like that wasn't on my top 5 was probably in my honorable mentions. I had a lot of fun with this. I say we do something similar to this again in the future.
Okay.
I don't know what exactly we would do, but I'm sure we'll be able to think of something.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly I couldn't have said it better myself. I couldn't have said that better myself. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. It was nice to just have a discussion on this series in general. Because
Mhm.
the only other discussion that I've had about the series was with BYG Igami, but that
Mhm.
was like over a year ago. That was over a year ago. It was a while back,
Right.
and
Dang.
so it was nice to just have this discussion about the series that we like so much. And a funny little story actually. What happened was because before I started the series, I wanted to mainly do Dragon Ball content, and so I tried to get into that fandom, but there were way too many purists in that, and then I got in a big fight with one of them over Twitter, on Twitter, because I've been a lifelong dub fan my entire life um of that series, and so what happened was this guy I saw that this guy was I don't even know if he's on YouTube anymore, but this guy was going um on a tirade about the composer of the series, and I don't know if it was a joke or if or if it was just despite it. But what happened was the guy posted a poll on his Twitter where he asked who was the worst Dragon Ball composer or something like that. I can't even remember what it was. But what happened was he uh he uploaded that to his Twitter, and I immediately took to it. I went to I made a video on it with my buddy Jules, who I'm sure you've seen in a few of
Oh
my
yeah.
videos.
Yeah.
And we were basically we weren't really attacking his argument per se. We were just we were just giving our 2 cents on it. Um, and that basically proved to me that he was an elitist sub fan and so what happened was he immediately took to my Twitter. He saw the video and he was basically berating me for it, and he was attacking me for it. And um, I immediately blocked him. I didn't want to deal with that. Um, and then a few months later, I found him on YouTube, and he was attacking dub fans, basically saying that I don't want to say any words here because I'm trying to make this channel family friendly as best I can. But some cracks do appear here and there, like with the reaction videos I recorded earlier. But
Mhm.
I try to keep it family friendly coming from myself as best I can. And but I'm not gonna go over what he said in the video. But needless to say, it was very disrespectful, incredibly disrespectful to dubbed fans. And he basically made it sound like because okay, the guy's British. He's a British guy. He's either British or Australian, and he made it sound like he grew up with the sub version. He made it sound like he made it sound like he grew up with the sub version of Dragon Ball, and it seems like he's a child of the 80s or 90s, kind of like me, but he was a child of the early 90s, and back then subbed anime was not a thing. If you wanted subbed anime, you had to go to a Japanese blockbuster store or something like that and rent it. But even then it didn't have subtitles, so you couldn't understand half the time.
Mhm.
And so a lot of people, um, I eventually left the fandom because I found out that there were way too many elitist sub fans and stuff, um, there, and so I couldn't really get a following that way. And so I decided, okay, well, why not do a lesser known fandom because there is one out there. I mean, I'm sure you've watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything's videos
Yeah.
before. And so I was watching a video of his, and that got me inspired to, okay, why not tackle this? I mean, I grew up with it.
Mhm.
Why not do this? And I was also I didn't really rip off Mr. Fusion, but I was kind of inspired by his Dragon Ball Dissection series in a way. Although with him he reviews the manga mostly, and then he covers the anime later. But I didn't want to cover the manga, because I actually don't really know how to scan stuff or anything like that, into the computer or anything. So I decided to just cover the anime because that was what I was more familiar
Mhm.
and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the long story about how I came into this fandom and stuff like that. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the community that we have. I just wish that I could have more discussions with the bigger creators, like
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything. I mean, Biroji Agami, like I said, that was a year ago. I contacted him to try to do another one, but he hasn't responded. Um, and so yeah, I wish that I just wish that I could have like a discussion with with like Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything or one of the bigger guys.
Hmm.
I mean, not that this discussion was bad. I mean, I loved it. I loved it. It's just
Yeah, yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I loved it.
It,
It was just really nice to get to talk with another fan,
mhm.
about this, stuff. So, so yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching this, and, Austin's, I'm gonna leave a link to Austin's channel below. Actually, why don't you go on ahead and plug your channel? Just
My
first.
channel is Austin Hammock's Reviews. Um, if you like movies, I do movie reviews. That's mainly what I do. I don't do a lot of stuff with Yu-Gi-Oh. I did do the 5 seasons, and uh, I did the Dark Side Dimensions review. But I my Yu-Gi-Oh reviews are nothing compared to his. I like your reviews because they're like in depth, like like you said, you dissect them. That's what I like about your Yu-Gi-Oh reviews.
Well, thank you, thank you. Well, I mean, the weird thing was because I it's weird because I started the series back in 2016, so that was like 2 years ago now. But
Hmm.
but what happened was the audio and the video on those videos are really bad. They're really bad, and so I've kind of been mulling over it in my head to try to because the videos don't get good in terms of video or audio until probably the middle of Battle City. Like when I talk about Joey versus Merrick, I think is where it gets really good. In
Hmm.
terms of, the audio and video quality. But also I also don't really like those early videos like Duelist Kingdom, Dungeon Dice Monsters, stuff like that because I just rushed through it. I just rushed through it mainly. I didn't really go in depth like I wanted to because at that time I didn't really have I didn't really have a foundation in what I wanted to do at that point. In time. And stuff like that. And so I'm hoping to someday go back and I mean, I'm gonna leave the originals up. Just to, I mean, unless they get taken down, but I don't see how they could because they're just still images. It's just still images in those videos. But I'm gonna leave the originals up and have like the new ones like between the old ones. So it's like old one here, like old Duelist Kingdom here, new Duelist Kingdom here, maybe part one of that. And then eventually older reviews on Battle City, newer reviews on the beginning of Battle City, stuff like that. So that's
Hmm.
what I hope to do one day. I don't know when I'm gonna get around to it, but I'm gonna try.
Eventually.
I'm gonna try. Uh, all right. So like I said, guys, Austin's channel will be in the description below. We'll link to it anyway. I mean, I can't physically put your channel in the description, although I wish I could. But okay. So virtual handshake, I guess. Thank you. Thank you for thank you for having this discussion with me. I really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I had a lot of fun, and like I said, hopefully in the future we can do something similar to this because I had a lot of fun, and um, I would suggest if anyone wants to like see something like this again, in the near or late future, just comment like what because I don't know what we would discuss
Uh
again,
huh.
but I'm sure someone can think of something. But
Yeah.
yeah, uh, like I said, I had a lot of fun, and I guess I'll see you next time.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching, and like I said, Austin's channel will be in the description. I had a lot of fun doing this. Really cool talking to you, man. And um, leave your comment below. Anyone watching this. I mean, what's your list? I mean, what's your list? I mean, let's get a discussion going. Beyond this
Yeah,
one, like in the
yeah.
comments.
I,
Uh,
I, I would like to see other people's opinions.
yeah.
I would like to see someone's number one not be Yami
Oh
versus.
yeah, not be Yugi
I
versus
want to
Atem.
see like because I hate that, like, I know it's stereotypical that Yami versus Yugi is number one, but I had to do it. It was for sure my number one. But I would like to
Uh-huh.
see like if someone does have a different number one.
You're not the only
Uh,
one, man. I mean, that's what's cool about like top 5 or top 10 lists. I mean, they can really be anything. I mean,
yeah,
and so I like because I mean the 'cause I mean if you do comment below what your list is, let us know why you like those duels. I mean, kind of like we did. And stuff like that. Uh okay guys, so thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you once again, thank you Austin for joining me. And yeah, God bless. See you guys.
right. See ya.